Proving people wrong backfires more often than not. Karma is always served to all parties involved, directly or indirectly. The universe decides what lessons to offer who. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And while all peoples are free of choice, no person is free of consequence. Ego rules and ruins, like the tower in the tarot. The original depiction of the card is a burning castle on a hill, falling apart, being struck by lightning, with two people in the tower, one being thrown and one jumping from a window. The premise behind it is save yourself and salvage whatever you can so you won't have to start from scratch, as per the jumper. Or continue to burn until you've learned your lesson and rise from the ashes, as per the universe's foot in your ass. You will be cyclically forced to repeat what you choose to ignore or what you don't want to repair. They met in September of 2020 through a mutual friend who was the single keystone to the world I would have given a kidney to be a part of. A glamorous group of New York City socialites without jobs but endless streams of money welcomed her, and I watched as she evolved from a small town gem to the clique's main plug. They never made a single move without her. That powder gave her the leverage and the power to lock down everything and everyone that she set her eyes on. My ex was always generous, but very easily manipulated. Her primary love language is gift giving because her communication skills are in the gutter. At 36, she really has no desire to grow as a person, no long-term goals, lacks direction and ambition, but still lives every single day by the seat of her pants. She's always had a silver spoon mentality, and that's a lifestyle, unfortunately, that I will never relate to or understand. I saw her living this fabulous life, surrounded by models in the hottest clubs every night of the week. I asked about the Empress. I wanted so badly to be her friend. At the time, she might have been one of the most gorgeous women I'd ever seen, and I was dying to meet her. I wanted to party with them and take unhinged videos and pics that I wouldn't remember having taken while looking through my phone the next day. So the end of June came around, and we were both living in the metro area as she had moved to BK a little bit before I moved to North Jersey. I humbled myself and reached out. I asked about linking up for Pride and introducing me to the Empress. She said she molded over and didn't want my energy mixing with hers. But that's bullshit speak for I don't want you to fuck up what I got going on. I then realized that she was already an obsessive like with the Empress, but as I'm writing this now, I'm realizing she was actually protecting the Empress and her new life from me. She rejected the surety of me for the possibility of a chance with the Empress. My ego was destroyed. She called us toxic and told me that we'd better go our separate ways. She blocked me and went on to have what looked like the best summer of her entire life. She courted us both in the same manner, with the exception that for the Empress, money was no object. My ex had zero reservations about showering her and her friends with the most expensive experiences and luxuries money can buy, and never ever asking her to go half or pay her way, if it meant that she got to spend time with her newfound interest. I got my cards read, as I usually do, and of course the situation is front page news, as it's the only thing that I can think about. I tried to warn my ex about the Empress's true love, stating that her affections would never be reciprocated, and if they were, it would be short-lived and only under the influence. She laughed at me, called me crazy, and told me to fuck off. From that point, she made it her sole driving mission to conquer this woman and rub it in my face, because I bitterly swore that she would never be able to have her. She showed me. Their first official date was 10 days at a luxury resort and spa in the Dominican Republic, right before spending their first Christmas together and bringing in the new year as an item. I guess everyone has a price after all. I don't know what I was thinking. My delusions got the best of me. My ego created scenarios where she might suddenly recognize the error in her ways and spend the rest of her days doing everything in her power to rectify her mistake. That she would reach out to me, would offer me the diamonds that I never received, and cry despairingly at my feet, relentlessly begging for another chance to right her wrongs, pleading for forgiveness and deciding a lesser-known evil was worth risking and losing me in the gamble. I knew in my soul I didn't belong there, but letting things go has never been one of my strong suits. I understand now that I was codependent, and I form attachments to situations reminiscent of the issues my inner child still hasn't resolved. It gets deeper and creepier because she and I look so much alike. She favors my mother in more than a few facial features, and I am my mother's twin. Her birthday is April 3rd. My mom's is April 2nd. And these Aries twins share a deep-seated selfishness, an astounding lack of self and social awareness, reckless impulsivity, and a nonchalance about stability bordering on delusion. As a kid, my single, extremely attractive, and socially active mother would drop me off at my grandma's apartment, then take off when I turned my back. I remember I would purposely avoid the bathroom or the bedroom so she couldn't escape and leave me behind, but she always found a way. She never smoked, drank, or did drugs. Her only vice to this very day is a long time filled with music, dancing, and sweating until the break of dawn. A common trait amongst Aries is their proclivity to partying, as they never seem to get enough. Though I get it, for I too enjoy a solid rage, getting attention, both seeing and being seen. I've inherited my mother's vice and can practically dance anything with a bit of coaching. In that vitally developmental era, though, I also casually picked up crippling trust and abandonment issues, rendering me a clingy and anxiously attached partner as an adult. I was 12 when she was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy, her heart being 3 times the size it was supposed to be. I was full of resentment, I was angry, and I was in the way. I was a burden to everyone who was in charge of me because I felt so unloved. I'd revolt. My grandmother's mind started deteriorating about the same time, and we all moved into my uncle's house. Whatever innocence I had left died in those years, my childhood stolen and dedicated to the Holy Roman Catholic Church in the Archdiocese of Metuchen. As a teen, I sought acceptance in the wrong places. I was chastised at home and would attach myself to literally anyone that showed me a slight kindness or shared a compassionate word. If I liked them, I usually ran them off in a short time. My intensity and my despair was overwhelming and terrifying. I didn't know restraint. I would act on my emotions and emulate what I saw on TV, throwing myself into situations that have adversely shaped my relationships with men. The first time I truly felt loved, I was being used, but I didn't see it because I was lost in the idea of someone choosing me. They had just gotten kicked out of their last situation, and no one falls in love quicker than a person who needs a place to stay. When they left to set up their next finesse, it was like watching a crash in slow-mo. I tried to stop it from happening, but an object in motion stays in motion. What's meant to be will be. A few years later, I chased after someone 9 years my senior, while they laughed at me and took everyone seriously except me. Several eras of fog, Tons of repressed memories and repetitive experiences before I met the sociopath who would eventually cause my mental and emotional breakdown, slathering PTSD on top of my already decadent list of personality issues. In my healing, I asked the universe to show my ex who her partner truly is and what she chose over me. I wanted her to be ashamed of what she had done, but the universe instead decided to show me who my ex is. In candid videos, their body language is always so calculated, uncomfortable, and disagreeable. The obvious cold, wide distance between the two recently wedded lovers shows disdain, forced, and fraudulent interaction. Karma let me watch as she desperately accepts whatever breadcrumbs and tiny bits of affections are thrown at her. Still, my ego understands you never meant shit to her. You never will mean shit to her. Not then, not now, and not ever. She once told me she couldn't understand why it was so hard for me to just let go and move on, since it's always been so easy for her to do. So now, as the tower burns and crumbles, the Empress will jump and run to her comfort and safety, removing herself from the danger and restarting her life on the rubble with the wares she salvaged from her ruse. My ex remains in her tower, pretending that roaring blaze is the sun. She hides and burns in silence, trying with all her might to rebuild the castle that they imagined together with the ashes that were left behind. While her wells have run dry, her pride and her ego keep her trapped in a private wasteland. Dark glasses covering desolate eyes and secret suffering. Because I was right about the things I said in warning her, she will never again in this lifetime fix her gaze to blink in my direction. Because the card's predictions inevitably came true, she will purposefully avoid me in this plane, making sure she never has the great displeasure of locking eyes with me ever again. Her ego will never forgive me for speaking her greatest nightmares into existence. And her pride will make her try to rewrite fate. She would rather go broke and die trying to conquer the Empress again and again than to ever accept that she made a mistake and admit that I might have been right. But what did I expect to happen past that point? Like realistically? Once I got the validation that I wanted so badly, would I even be able to look past the fact that she actually loved someone else? Would I ever be able to forgive her for cruelly and publicly humiliating me? Or for giving the life that she knew I wanted to another woman while the rest of the world and I watched? She will never feel remorse, nor understand the direct correlation in her choices. While her illusions are destroyed by the very same architect who helped her construct them, she will never feel guilt for choosing someone else over me. That is my ego death. After raising her from the ground and consoling her because I recognized that pain, then what? Would we ride into the sunset, build a life and the family that they planned together? Would my ego allow me to tend to the wounds created by the woman chosen to replace me? I doubt it. She last visited me in a dream sometime last year and told me as clear as day, I'd rather have nothing with her than have everything with you.